A good story for Oatly, but we've only done 80,000 shares on that. So more to come, I feel, on this name here today and in the future. But hey, it's nice to get off that bottom. So hopefully some of the stocks I own can do the same thing.
Definitely. Let's go to Analyst Moves, guys, upgrades and downgrades for today. Merck on here, I just noticed. Obviously, the big vaccine-related, or not vaccine, but COVID-related news story over the past couple of weeks. Plug Power has had a pretty good week, a couple of days to the upside. This AON nicely positive on the day as well. How dare Wells Fargo downgrade Home Depot? I mean, it's red, but only just. Nothing else terribly. ConAgra reported, I think, as well for CAG this week, guys.
It's like you said, Plug Power, and I'm like, why does the chart look almost exactly the same as Oatly's? If you pull it to 15, and the daily chart's not going to look the same. But yeah, Plug Power, it's like filling right into this gap here the last couple of weeks at 26.70. But you always have to look at the daily as well. And Plug is trying again to break off of this level. Plug is going to get really interesting if it tries to take out this 30, and it's been sitting around in this range for the better part of 4 or 5 months now. And I think if it can actually get going, that'd be fantastic. How you want to play clean energy, there's like about a million ways to do it, and maybe there's too many of them, and that's why you're seeing such lackadaisical movement overall. Now, that Home Depot, downgrade Home Depot, that's how it's going to be, huh? I like Home Depot. Maybe we're going to get a buying opportunity there, but I'm still waiting around for this Plug. The Plug 30 day, when it comes, I'll probably be on that breakout, unless all hell is breaking loose to the downside in the market.
Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about Merck here. Merck is right at these levels of $80. Really like that level. I mean, it's held, this is just a 20-minute chart. You can bring it back to October 1st. It's held $80 all the way here on the downside. So very exciting opportunities if you can get Merck around 80. We have that big bump up there on their pill. We've talked about that sort of at length here on the show. I think there's a good opportunity, to pick this name up. I still think I like Eli Lilly. I have to look at that chart again before we do anything. But right down there, Merck looks like it's pretty good. And again, on the 1-minute chart, not doing much here today. It's only done 64,000 shares. I think we have to really wait. And I put this on the sticky note earlier, and we can show it to everybody now that we've gotten the report out. So it might not be, too big of a thing here. But here's the sticky note today. Find me on Twitter at TraderTVSean. You're going to see the jobs number will move the market. So I don't really want to look at too many levels. And I talked about that right here. No levels now, right? So thanks for all the retweets and the likes on all this. But Tesla, CEI, Palantir, and DATS are 4 names that we're going to get to very, very soon. So I'll put the sticky note one more time in the chat. And then you guys can have a look at some of these levels. But we will talk about them all coming up. It's hard right now with the market. I mean, again, we're still 35 minutes. Hello. What time is it? Before the market opens. So, I don't want to talk too much about Microsoft or Apple's or anything like that until the market does open up, but we're getting much closer to that. And let's just keep a look on some of these popular names. I think we're going to go through the watch list now.
Not much volume on this one, but worth a mention here, guys. This Hellbiz, recent high flyer HLBZ, up 8.5% here. This is why Intel's Move It and Hellbiz accelerate global partnership. So announcing a deal with Move It for HLBZ. So a heads up on that one again. I think it's only, 86,000 shares here in the pre-market. So not much yet, but we will keep an eye on that one as well. If you are looking for, my button's not working, there it is. That is not it either, guys. If you're looking for, what's that?
I said sneak peek.
Yeah, it is a sneak peek of what is to come this weekend. If you're looking for the watch list, we'll get you the link in the chat. How about that? There it is. That is the link for the watch list every day, guys. We put it out at 8:30 before we come on. Absolutely free. All you need is an email address. Let's get into said watch list. We'll talk about Tesla here. If you remember, big move in the afternoon yesterday for Tesla. There was a tweet flying around suggesting that, people wanted a question asked at the annual general meeting about a dividend. And somehow that turned into Tesla's going to announce a dividend. Tesla did not announce a dividend. And not only that, Elon Musk actually said there are no current plans for a dividend. They did announce, though, they're moving to Texas, which was not a surprise at all.
No, I mean, can I say, I can say the word, well, whatever. I'm not going to get into what Elon Musk was saying about the state of California last year. So moving, zero surprise there.
Yeah.
What we care about here is the simple fact that Tesla has been doing really well when it comes to the supply chain constraints and the chip shortage. They've been kicking butt. They got that fantastic number on deliveries. So you're going to see what happened in yesterday's action. Like, it pushed right into the weekly high and then did a hard reversal. So we're back below that 800 level. And sometimes with like a nothing, I shouldn't call it a nothing event, but sort of it was a rumor that pushed it through that 800 level that stalled you at 805. And it's not to say you should ignore that price action, but to me, that puts the lower highs that were in play before at these levels still in play, right? So if I zoom out a little bit, you're gonna see like this 800 lower high, and then here at like 98, today again at 98. I still see it as one peak through a break of 800 to 807, and then an 800 lower high floor. Because you essentially just spiked up on a rumor. And I do the same thing. If there was like a flash crash or something like that on the downside, it's not to say that that didn't happen, but I would treat it a little bit differently than how we were trading on the actual momentum in the last couple of weeks. So I still think it's got a lower high sitting here at that 800 number. The fact that we get this little bit of a bump in the market, I think it's helping. But look, it tested that 98, and sometimes this is it's kind of an important thing here. When the futures came up, and you heard Sean talk about why he got out and where, right? So he was trading the Qs. That was 15,000 on the NASDAQ where it stalled. And Tesla ran up as well, and it ran right into that 98 lower high and turned around at that same price. So it didn't even test the 800 level when you had that push into 15,000. So it's a little bit relatively weak if you're going to compare it to the NASDAQ and the overall market. Doesn't mean it can't go. If we break 15,000, I'm going to like Tesla for an 800 break. But there's no way that I want that break long unless you are breaking 15,000, because it's showing a little bit of relative weakness in Tesla. I still like buying those 65, 70s if you ever get back down there again for the day trade. But for now, it's all about that price action at the 800 level based on what we see overall in the futures. You want to see follow through there for the breakout.
Yeah, we called this yesterday when it came to us, and I sort of did the thumbs down there on that dividend, and we talked about why that wouldn't be good for them, and I'd stick with it, and they didn't do it. So we'll wait for 805 here. I like this 805 break on Tesla. It's pretty simple to me. We'll just see if it rockets up here. Like I said, it's hard to talk. Look at the NASDAQ. We're still holding this, so NASDAQ right back to highs basically. Right now, it's going to be hard to take a Tesla trade if you don't have the market with you, but we've seen what Tesla's been the last couple of days, man, relatively strong. I mean, the market, people talking about the market in this downturn, Tesla, saying no thank you to that and straight to the upside. So we'll see if Tesla takes this out. You're up here at 808. We touched 808 the other day. I don't know if that must have been in the pre-market. And then we have 805 there as well. So that's the level that I'm going to look at. Yesterday's top being taken out. 805 clean, and we're going to go long. So I'm not going to touch it until then. If the market does fall, I mean, Neil just covered some levels there. 780, 786, in this area, I think is worth it. 85, 86, something like yesterday before we had that bump up there. But nothing's changed for Tesla. They're saying all the right things. No matter what you think of Elon Musk, I mean, even his haters still, claim that he's a genius, really. I mean, so we'll just see where it goes from here. I think the move to Texas is a smart one, better for employees, better for tax situation. And let's just see where they go from here. And I like Tesla. I'm a Tesla bull and will be probably forever.
It was expected in the sense that, he was already living there himself, I guess, as well. Moved to Austin. Let's get a check of the overall market here. We'll bring in Arun, guys, and have a look at the futures, see what we need to be aware of here after this report. Arun, obviously, as we said, bad jobs report might be good for the market, though.
Yeah, sometimes bad news is good, sometimes good news is bad. This market, the numbers themselves are confusing because it's all over the place, right? You have a big miss on the number side, on the payroll side, and then you have a big beat on the unemployment rate side. So huge different markets confused on what to do. That means you got to stay away for now until they settle in, figure out which direction is better for the market for now, at least. I would just stay out of this market. You can see the movement, right? It doesn't want to go below 90 and doesn't want to go above evens, right? So 4,400 even, we're sitting here. We've been as high as what, 44.7 or 8 or 750 or something like that. And then we've been as low as 82 or 83 on the bottom end. So we're stuck in the middle of the market. We're trying to find a range. There's a lot of movement to the upside, a lot of movement to the downside. A couple of levels that I would keep in mind though. Soft level below 80, meaning see how it trades. If we can get below 80 and stay below 80, then maybe open up some shorts. That was a level I've had in mind since yesterday. The other one was put in late in the session, which would be for me 44.25, which would be near the high of the day from yesterday. So those are the two wide levels I can work with, at least for now I can see. But I do want to caution you on the 44.25 area. That's going to be dependent entirely on how it trades up there. There is some other activity. I would think there's a I believe a 50 DMA sitting up there. May bring in some program activity if we cross the 25 into 30. So it all depends on how we trade once we pass 25, if that's a situation that we need to take care of today. Now, to the downside, I think that's a little bit more clear. That would be the preferable drop. If we move to the downside, it kind of opens up the trade a little bit, maybe back into the 50s or so, 43.50, 43.60, somewhere around there. That's probably the better trade. But for now, though, as you can see, the market's bouncing everywhere, up and down. That means stay out. Maybe the open brings some more clarity on what this market's going to do. But for now, we are up 0.25% on the ES and 0.6% on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, going to be wide range today. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again on Monday. Let's talk about Camber Energy, guys. Yeah, number 2 on the list today. Hard to avoid after the past couple of days and the past couple of sessions worth of volume that we've seen on this. Gapping above $2 here. What are we looking at?
Wishing that it hadn't gapped above $2. And not
CEI.
Like CEI. Like I'm happy for everybody that has the long position in it, of course. But we're happy to see others make money. But we really wanted.
I'm going short right now.
We wanted a $2 break. You can look at what it would have been like here today. A couple of highs there. I had a little bit of a tester scalp trade up here. But there's more resistance that's I thought would have gotten tested in this move. It's close to that 260 area previous support. Didn't quite get there, but then yesterday it did fall shy of turning at what I thought was going to be a $2 level. So this feels like it's going to get put in maybe on the downside again. I think that's where you're looking for support. It's going to be around 190 to $2. It does feel like it wants to test that on Camber. Had this already gone to like 250, 260, I probably would have dug into something in terms of the short side trade. And it was a little bit early on, and I got a little quick scalp in there, and that's just about it. So I'm not in it right now. If it pops up right at the open for that 930 play, a lot of times what I'd be doing is saying, okay, it's a pop and fade type of idea. Like if it doesn't take out the high, you'd be looking for a short somewhere in front of it with a tight stop. Because I think that's more like a 250 to 260 top, I think you're waiting around for that level. And my gut tells me that there's probably other day traders that are thinking along the same lines. If it can hold the line on a higher low at about $2, I think it's worth a bounce long there. So I'd be ready to get on the bid in front of it. You guys all remember, if you're watching the show, then you're definitely going to remember what happened at $1. It never got to that $1. The times it was a good bounce are the times when it didn't get to the level, right? They stopped at 105, stopped at 106, even one time I think at 103, and then it started to rally. So I'd expect the same thing in front of that $2 level. You want to see it bounce in front of it. If it gets there, you probably don't like the long, is my gut feeling, like that old 102 long. So I'll probably try to only go long in front of it, like at 5 at 6. I'd still have a $2 stop, but I'd rather catch the falling sword the first time and hope it never gets to that stop level.
So CI is one of the only names on our watch list today, and I think I'm just saying congrats to all the longs. I mean, anybody that hammered this thing down near that $1, I mean, you get a beautiful double up here, plus more there. I think we can short it into 350, but then to 250. But then if 250 breaks, I'm just going to wait for it to take out 3. I mean, I don't even really want to dance in between 250 and $3. So I just want, that's something that I'm looking at right now. I don't really want to be involved in this area right here. I'm not sure what it's going to do, but I am pretty sure that if we come up to $3 again and take this out, then honestly, next stop might be 4. Like, I just think we take out all of this. This was in then the huge tank. So let's wait to see what happens. If we could take out $3, which is right here, then I think we go higher and higher and higher. So I don't know. We'll wait. I'm going to take a close short into 250 just because it's 250. Like, you had some 266 there. You had 250 back down into here. So we'll short it around this area, but it'll be a very, very quick hitter. If I do get short, like it either hits me out at 251 or we can hold it back down to $2 again. But that's going to be the only short that I have on Camber. I do want to test it right here a little bit. If we do break below, this will not be a big trade, but we'll have some fun with it. And again, we won't ride this for too long. But if we do break this 220 right here on the downside, I think it's worth a very, very small short. I'll take like 25% short of the normal position that I would have, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But for right now, man, I mean, I really think we actually, you know, now that I'm saying this 250 short, I mean, we may just blow out through here, 240, 245, and then just keep on going. So we'll see. It's looking a lot stronger than I thought right now off that 220 bounce. So yeah, Camber Energy is going to be on watch again, man. Already 65 million shares. We did 1 billion yesterday. We've done 1 billion a couple times. So that obviously is looking like it's going to be, you cannot believe I'm ignoring AMD. Wow, Gurban, I feel that that is definitely, you got my attention, so congratulations. But yeah, we don't ignore AMD. I mean, I didn't put anything on the watch list today for, you know, big cap tech. I talked about why. It's because the number came out. I'd rather trade the Qs. I said anything above positive, and we were going long. That's again on the sticky note as well. So we'll wait to see what happens. Or it's actually on the video that I made. Hopefully you guys can see that video. I'll post that link up as well on the chat. If you want to see a little bit of a back story here of the show, you can see, here we go, I did a little video here, and you can see the behind the scenes look there for Trader TV Live. But anyways, AMD, I love AMD, man. Let's just see where it goes. I think 105.50 is a great little support for AMD. So if we get back down to there, we're gonna go long on AMD. But until the market opens up, I'm gonna wait to see how these stocks react to the number. This is a big day.
All right, we touched on, Sean, you mentioned cryptocurrencies there a little bit. Bitcoin, guys, coming off of 56,000 we touched late in the day yesterday, and overnight back below 55,000. But I just saw this one, Hut 8. There's a few. BTBT, again, very active in the pre-market, 2% here for Hut 8. Craig Hallam with the price target raise for HUT. But Bit Digital, BTBT, another one that went crazy earlier in the week on a low float.
BTBT.
Yeah, BTBT was a fun. It's definitely a good stock and a fun runner. It got all the way to this 1250. If we get up there again today, usually the thing that you want to watch here is just check out the key levels. Are we resisting some key levels? Of course, like Ethereum is resisting 37,000 right now. You know, Bitcoin, we broke the 55 and, you know, got to like 56, or at least close enough to it anyways. We know it did break 56. And then we're back to the downside. So below that 55, that lower high, and you will see outsized moves, right? Like in that same regard, BTBT's pulled 10% back from this high. So you got to think about it in this regard. Like, these are not going to follow each other one-to-one. I think that's part of the problem. In trading the equity, you have to follow the key levels, but at the same time, it can be easier technically just to be in the actual cryptocurrency that you want to track itself. All that being said, if BTBT comes to 1250 and we haven't made a new high in Bitcoin, it does feel like a bit of a fade. It's weird. Like, I have some data that is missing on my charts at times, and you'll see it just, there it is. It actually just filled in. So I was going to say, you do have some support down at 1050 here, but if it touches 1250, I hate to say it, I'm probably going to be on the short side of BTBT. The other day, and I want to come just for a quick second to talk about Silvergate, and this is only because this had a bit of a squeeze going on onto it, where it pushed all the way to $165. It was an oversized move. It started happening before, like, it was just way too much in regards to how much your crypto was moving. And you see it got almost to this 170 mark. Candidly, I'm a shareholder. I sold it. I'm like, well, almost everything out when it got to that 150 mark. It's now baselining at 150. And as this consolidates, my fear would be if there is a strong pullback to say like 50,000, if there was any kind of a dip, this stock could really come down heavily through 150. And, you know, you could easily see like $10, $12 worth of a move, but you'd want to make sure that the overall crypto market is going with you. Most of that move was upsized, and it's about 10% short interest, and it's been increasing. And I would fear that the downside could come in relatively quickly. If there was any kind of a pullback in crypto, this could fall. Support's like at $120, $125 on this one, which is a big move if 150 were to break.
You know what's been pretty hot fire has been Coinbase. Looking back there, you were just talking about it, and I was like, what the heck? Coinbase, a nice, I mean, if we zoom in here, I mean, it's a nice move. It was just $230. So I don't know. That's, 10% up here in about a week. I know the market's been rebounding, so it shouldn't be that much of a surprise. There are a lot of stocks that are up like this, but for Coinbase to be up here, that's pretty nice. I mean, I'll sell next time we get around this 280. I am stuck long. I'll find out the exact price. I bought it initially on this dip back in, but I think I'll find out. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I bought this name. So, we're going to watch out for Coinbase here, only 35,000 shares. But if you look at, and again, these charts, they always go missing for me here. There's that. Here it is. Here's a 20-minute right here. If you're going to notice, I think any sort of a dip back down in here in a 248, 247, something like that for Coinbase over the last couple of days, a little bit of barcoding happening right here. So I think you got some dip buy opportunities around 247, 248 if Coinbase does give up something here today. I like that trade. And then as far as BTBT, I mean, we were trading that when it was moving through 10 and then upside again. Watch out for these 12s to break. For me right now on BTBT, we're just going to wait for the Bit Digital. We'll wait for it to come back through 11 or so. It doesn't really follow. I mean, it gets going when crypto gets going, but I'm not super excited about BTBT. Like I keep saying, I'd rather just trade the physical coins.
Watch the CCXI, guys, starting to get going back to day highs as well. Let's talk COVID-19 once again on the vaccine front. We're talking about when Merck came out with that pill on the treatment side of things, the significance of it being an oral application versus through an IV drip or other means. So Vaxart comes out with positive data on an oral pill form COVID-19 vaccine aftermarket yesterday. So this is a vaccine, not a therapeutic in the same way that Merck saw that big pop last week, but 4.8% here for Vaxart. Another one kind of fading off though.
Yeah, like what? It's giving it all back, and I'm like, ugh. And it's on low volume too. Like if Vaxart had been doing more volume, I think I would have been in this around 770 this morning. But it's just the volume's basically not there, so it's just drifting back into the downside. It's probably just going to put in support at like 730, and if not worse, if this news isn't going to get it holding a stable bid, I don't know what it's going to take. I think you're definitely selling it in front of $8 if it gets there, but. If you're long this, hopefully you got some profit out. It just feels overly weak with no excitement whatsoever on the bid of this name, which kind of tells me that most people have been looking at the the Modernas of the world, and there's so much focus in the market. I think from the heavy trading has been piling into like CEI and some of the crypto names. That usually when I would expect to see volume out of Vaxart like today, it just feels like there's not any traders on this. And if that's going to be the case, and you really have to wait for the key level. So unless this thing bounces off $7 or makes some kind of a hero run to $8, you really got to sit it out. Like I pulled my level 2 up, and there hasn't even been a print on this thing. When there's a print now, but like it's just not even printing. And it's like 1 share, 2 shares. 25 shares. So until Vaxart gets going, you got to stay away from this bad boy. $7 maybe, $8 maybe okay. And Brendan mentioned that CCXI. We have to get to this one because it's on the move once again, up to 36. This could go. Like remember I was saying you had that gap, that 47 to 50 area on the daily chart. It's now a double top here at 38, 37.90 to be precise. If it breaks this level, like it could really jailbreak, I think. And there's $10 worth of a move. I know it seems crazy to say on a $38 stock you'd risk like $4 or $5, but on a 38 break, I think you're probably risking minimum back to this 35 level, if not this higher support that it put in at 33. And when it double tops like this, what you're looking for is a higher low. This is about where it was basing out. I call it like 33 even. It's held about the same. So it's not really a higher low, but it's held the same floor at that 33 level after putting in the double top at 38. So if you take 38 break, you really are not wrong until 33 comes in. But hey, that gap on the daily is 47 to 50. That's 2 to 1 if you're holding it all the way through. You can cover half at like a 44. But this is one I think I'm going to probably have if it breaks out at 38.
So yesterday was a big day for Ford. So Ford, again, a stock that is my recent, it's really my recent acquisition here on a real scale. We were waiting for this 1330 to break, and as soon as it did, we hammered this and went long at 1330. We didn't take any of these bottoms at 1250 or so. That would have been nice, but we hammered this huge in my long-term account. So, I'm not swinging this one. This is going to be a long-term play. I still think Ford takes out this 16, and I mean, it probably happens next month probably. I mean, I don't know. It could happen next week, I guess. It could happen today. I don't think today, but that's a nice high there for Ford. And then yesterday, we did have this big move up. We talked about that. Really just off GM. I mean, we're going to wait to see what Ford has to say. I mean, a lot of these companies now are going to electrify, almost their whole fleet. I mean, the F-150 is already being worked on. The Lightning is coming through. They have the Mach-E there for the Mustang. And I mean, just looking at this, I think we can get. And again, I'm not going to make too many calls because this is the NASDAQ, up, down, back here, baselining, trying to come back in. So we'll wait. We've made the mistake before of taking out Ford early, and then, we've had to go through some of the moves to the downside. I mean, even yesterday, here's Ford here. We traded it yesterday, and this is what I was talking about. Here's the big move off the open. Should have been long early, but it can do that. So then we shorted ahead of 15, right? We got hit there. We shorted 85s and 80s. We got out at 90s when that broke. Then we hit the short once we saw some resistance up here and hit that and made that money back and got this back. Ford, a good name, looking to take out 15 today. We'll see if that does happen. I'm a buyer down here, though. Like I said, we built back this 85 area. So I think we could start to nibble here. If it works, great. Then we'll have a nice winner when it comes back up to 15. But if it starts to fail around this area, then I'm really concerned, obviously, about bringing it back to 1450, where we had some of this. So I think it's worth averaging back down into 1450 in case the market drops down today. I don't think Ford cares too much about the jobs numbers. I mean, their sort of path is set for them. So we'll wait to see where it goes. But I like Ford back down here to 1450. I've already got some bids down here, 1485. So we'll see if that happens. But quickly, before we go back to Brendan, we haven't done a look at the imbalance locator. The Chinese names continue to be the winners right now. I mean, Alibaba's right there. It's still taking out like 161 off of an 8% move yesterday. We'll see if that can hold out some of the highs. NIO here as well, starting to make moves up to $36. Nice move here as well. Palantir not doing anything, but it's on here, and I don't see anything else. So there's Ford right there as a small sell. So we'll wait to see what happens here off the open. 15 minutes to go, guys.
All right. Conveniently, Chinese stocks, the next group on the list here. A couple of news catalysts over the past couple of days. President Biden and President Xi going to get together in a virtual summit to discuss trade, it would appear, before the end of the year. Charlie Munger as well, Berkshire Hathaway's Charlie Munger, coming out saying he's doubled his position in Alibaba as well on this pullback, saying this is way overdone, guys, as you said. Sean, big moves past couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Look, I mean, at this point, I really think it's somewhat of a lotto ticket to hit these up this high up here at 160. It's just what a great move this was yesterday, 150 all the way up to 160 yesterday. And we were just, I mean, this just goes back, honestly, this kind of, it's not meme stockish, but this is like, 144 up to 160 in 2 days. Seems to be a lot considering that we don't have much to go on, but we do know that Joe Biden's going to be speaking. I'm hoping with President Xi, I mean, that's been talked about there. Charlie Munger, okay, whatever. I mean, I can look up Berkshire Hathaway's stock and talk about that performance, and it's good. I mean, it's nice to hear that there's some bigger buyers that are in here on some of these Chinese names, but Alibaba definitely off the bottom. I mean, what a great pickup this name is going to be around the 140 area, but for now, I still think we got some room to go back to the downside and maybe backfill in here somewhere into the mid 150s. So I'm excited for it. I'm long on Alibaba. I mean, it's the only Chinese name that I'm long on right now, and I'm long a lot higher than this. I'm long, I think it was 208, I was telling you guys, or 212, my average position. So it's well out of the money right now, and I'm not buying any more. But hey, if it comes back into these 150 areas and we have a strong market, then I think it's good to go. It's a little top heavy in my opinion. That 9% move yesterday might be a little bit overdone, but hey, I mean, hopefully it's only, what do they say, green shoots moving forward here for the China-U.S. relationship.
I really, really would love Alibaba to break further out. I'm now almost flat on my position in Alibaba. So it would be really, really nice if we break 161 and then go from there. But you look at this, again, this is back into the mid-September. I just think it's a bit of a rollover. I hinted at that when we were tweeting out this morning. And I got to stick by it. Now it blew through the area that I thought it could stall out at in yesterday's action. So we got in and out very quickly on a short trade, and that turned into support. Oddly enough, I should have been paying closer attention to that because short off the top would have come previous what I thought resistance turned into that support. And I'm looking for a rollover in this tight range that it has here. Right, the market has managed to resist that 15,000, so it's not like we're breaking out overall just yet. I think, like John said, the fact that Charlie Munger is going to be doubling down this position probably bodes well for support if it drops down again. So that 130 on the daily that goes all the way back, we definitely like that. It stalled out in front of that level, and now I think you have some support around where Munger bought it. So if we're going to get a rollover on Alibaba today, I'm looking at about this. It's about a 161 area because it hasn't actually touched that. Probably closer to 160 and a half is your target entry. For me, maybe give it to like a 161 and change, something along those lines, or it could just be a simple breakdown. But I don't want to get into the trade until 9:30. I want the market to come in. Hopefully, we'll still be in this tight range, and we can look at that breakdown trade, or just grab it in the middle here in Alibaba. I'm not necessarily believing that it shouldn't pull back in, especially the fact that it got sold going into the close. It's going to gap up again, and the futures are running into resistance, and it's been so strong. Pullbacks are a healthy thing, and I feel like there could be one coming here.
Talk about DATS, another one moving around in the pre-market this morning. There's no real significant news surrounding DATS. It was very active again yesterday, if you remember, coming back in today to that 850, 875 area where it initially broke out from, if you go back to last week, and we saw that big move to the upside for DATChat.
Yeah, I mean, we do the same thing with these charts. Is like, when in doubt, zoom out. And it's not going to be that complicated, right? Because you look at that daily, as Brendan said, you had the breakout right around this $9 level, and now we'll pull it to the 15-minute chart. That's your breakout. This is your fall off a shelf at 11, and then you've been sitting in a range here from $7 to $9. Now, one thing I will say is the original dead cat bounce that it got took it to 950. So I think on any kind of a break through the high here, you have to consider getting some shares out in front of that 950 area to be sure. And then 950 can be a break on its own as well. So, I mean, it's going to stand out a little bit here. You have a 913, which is the actual high of the day. So if you take a breakout through that level, it's sort of pretty simple in that I would want to get some shares out in front of 950. I'd want to evaluate the volume, whether or not you want to add to it if it were to try to break 950, if only because it's not doing a ton of volume right now and it's been tapering off. But those are the clear levels that are going to stand out. If it does fail and come back in, you can kind of see where the support should be on the stock, down around that 7 to 750 area. But for now, that's trying to get off the bottom here, trying to take out that previous breakout price. And when the same level is going to break twice, you can never really expect the same move. Like this is not doubling going into 90. It's very, I'd say, very rare that you'd see that type of a thing happen here. The $10 break was actually not even that good the first time. The second time was solid. But I just really think when you look at this chart, sure, this is a key level.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
You just have to temper your expectations as to how far you think DATS can go, given what happened the last time it broke this price. Likely to have a few more eyeballs on it and a few more sellers as it starts to go.
I'm hoping this trade.
So I can answer the question of how far I think it's going to go. We talked about it on. Oops, that's
short
there. Shoot, it was right there. Right here on the sticky note, I talked about this as well. That's moving away. I'm sorry, moving again on no news. 950 long break should get us to 11. So I'm going to say if I take that 950 long, I'm going to wait out for 11, and we'll try to stick to what we're talking about there on the sticky note. I think there's a good opportunity for that name, and glad that we're covering it today. AMC on the 20-minute interval, I think, has a breaking spot as well, maybe at 38.50 here. The only problem is as I see this, I wish there wasn't so much consolidation here between 40 and 39. Like this area here bugs me a little bit from October 1st. It's just not super. Like I wish there was almost like a cleaner look at bottoms or whatever. But 35.50 there. This is a great bottom for AMC. Like if we ever get down to 35.50 again, I think I'll probably maybe buy somewhere. Maybe that's an option level there to go back long once we hit there back into the 40s or so. So we'll wait to see. But again, like I almost wish that like 38 looked like this kind of a top where we had a little bit of room to go up there, but I think just a 38.50 break right now. I mean, where does that get us? I guess it gets us to 39. So I mean, I like a 38.50 break. So I'm going to take that on AMC. It's just tempering my expectations here. Hopefully we'll be able to get some out at 39 if it goes, and then we'll look at 39.50. But I'd be really surprised if we take out 40. And if we do, man, then guns blazing on AMC to the upside past that. If we hit $40 today on AMC, guys, I mean, watch out. I think there's more people going back to the theaters right now. AMC has a good talk there. There's a few good movies out right now that we've talked about even here on the show. So let's wait to see what happens. I like AMC to the moon today. If we could take out this 38.50. Realistically, I think it moons if we go through 40. And by moon, I mean, if you start at 38 and you get to 42, I mean, I think that's a pretty good day. So we'll see what happens here today, but I like it. Breaking through 38.50. AMC, we're going to go on that.
A few minutes ago here, guys, a couple other little ones on board to talk about today. We mentioned Sundial off the top of the show. A lot more people with us now. Neil, you want to run back over SNDL?
Yeah, sure. Look, they're making a purchase of. I chuckle. Whatever. They're making a purchase of an Alberta liquor retailer that does have a cannabis subsidiary. So this is a play, I guess, to further their footprint. The volume has not picked up too much since we talked about it last time, but 74 was a previous key level. It's actually broken back below that price. It also happens to be the 50 period, although for penny stock, sometimes I care about that, sometimes you don't. We're right back below that 74 with a couple of 100,000 shares on the offer right now. So I thought the next level up was going to be about 85. It doesn't seem like we're going to test that. Usually I'm trying to short the pop at 9:30 on Sundial, and that's the only reason I'm not even. The only reason I'm not short right now in front of 74 is because the typical game plan on a day like this in Sundial would be to short a pop into the high of the day. So I don't want to break that rule, which had worked for me so well. And granted, this was like probably more than months ago, the last time I was active on this one. But I'm not going to jump in front of that 74. I'll stick to the rules. If it pops into 70, 76, 77 off that high, fair enough. If that breaks, I'll take a shot at that 85 level as well. Just a quick update on that CCXI. It did get to the top. Again, it tested like 37 and change and is now holding a higher low one more time. If that breaks out the high of the day, I do want to take it. It's got a monster gap to fill, that CCXI, all the way up to 47.50 if it does make a run. Just be careful. Not the biggest float. Liquidity can be a concern. Halts a possibility on CCXI, not Sundial.
Yeah, I mean, you just talked about Sundial there. I mean, it's going to be a good name. I'm watching CEI right now bouncing around here. It's 80 million shares in the pre-market. This is going to be one to watch out for. Big, probably huge market on open orders going to be coming into this name, as it's already up another 28% after 100% or so yesterday. Quick check on the imbalances before I throw it over to Brendan. We have that MIC on there. That's hilarious. That's a buy. NIO, EIEIO on here as well. Alibaba. So some of the Chinese names, all bids. Really no sells on here to be concerned with. I don't even know what this warrant is. There is FAMI on here. We talked about that at that 40-cent range. I know a lot of you are in this name, so we'll have to watch FAMI at 40 cents. We've talked about that as well. But without any further ado, Naked Brands on their DD. I don't see too much of interest there. These are low numbers considering it is a jobs report Friday. So we'll wait to see where this goes. I'm liking Palantir back down near 23 if it gets there. But we'll talk about all these names for sure when the market opens. But right now, Brendan has an exciting one at the big screen.
Yeah, a couple of small ones bottom end of the list today, including this one, this Effector, recent addition to the market. EFTR up 20% today. On positive news as well, there's really only one thing to be aware of, the top end of this range, which is 15. So just watching 15 even on EFTR. There was a bit of a pivot on the daily chart a couple of times for that one, guys, Effector.
And yeah, there's a lot of stuff to watch here. I'm going to add one to the list. It's been a big trade, obviously, and a big move in the last couple of days here, and that's going to be Affirm. It did resist a double top here at 140, and I talked about this, so I won't go over it. You guys probably watched the show yesterday, and I talked about not following my rules on Affirm because you'll see a clean trade here a couple of days ago on Wednesday off that top at 140, and then you'll see me get rather impatient. I took a breakdown at that same level on Affirm at 132, stopped out flat on that trade, and then started a short entirely too early and then bungled it at the top. So Affirm still has a 140 resistance. Now looking at the lower high it's putting in, that's about a 135, 136 was a key level, so 135, 136. I did say if it trended lower and was testing that 32 again in the afternoon show, I said if it's testing that again, it would still be a bit of a rollover trade because Affirm has just come so far that it has a bit of a pullback in it. The last couple times it's gone parabolic, there had been 10 to 15% pullbacks minimum. It has not done that just yet, so I still think that could be in the cards, and I'll go for it again today. Just try to be more disciplined. Like if 136 goes, I'm out of the first trade. And if I'm out of that first short, there is no chance. I cannot take it until it tests 140, and I've got to be very patient with that entry. I got too excited because of how good it was on Wednesday and started getting into that trade too early yesterday. We'll see what happens here today, but I am going to be shorting Affirm. I love Affirm. I got it long term, but it's every time it's done this, there's been a good pullback, and it hasn't done it yet. It's still consolidating at that top. If it breaks this bottom, watch out.
Yeah, for sure. And, if you guys want to follow, I do have some reels and stuff like that gets posted on Instagram. We just talked about this yesterday, man. This 3,500, true followers. If you guys can follow Trader TV Sean, we're posting out, the jobs report here today, a few cool videos. And John Deere, maybe you want to get some tractor game going right there. But we'll put the link up one more time. And the reason we do this is that there's so many fake accounts hammering you guys every day. It's just Trader TV Sean, Neil, and Brendan, spelt the proper way. I'm the only one on Instagram, but all of us are on Twitter. So please, if you are getting messages, just make sure it is us and don't have a problem trying to ask us even live on the show. We don't ask for any money. We don't ask for anything. What's up, Bank Finanzas there? What's up to you guys? What's up to Dan McIsaac as well? I love the morning talks in the car. Okay, yeah, we can start to do that a little bit more. We did one today. If you go to my videos, you'll see, and it was around the studio here today. Miss V is off for a couple days, enjoying her Thanksgiving there in the lovely province of British Columbia. So I want to give a big shout out to Laura, who is remote and doing this from Massachusetts. So shout out to Laura as well. I believe, anyways, that's where she's at right now. Yep. Okay, let's get ready to rock and roll. With only 20 seconds to go. Thank you, Laura, for keeping the chat somewhat sane. And guys, let's get ready to rock and roll. CEI through 2:30. We're going to look at that as well.
And it is Maggie on the bells. You guys can already see there. There she is. Give a nice little wave, filling in for Miss V. 5, 4. Let's end
Casual
the week
Friday,
right.
baby.
2 and 1. Ring it.
There we go, Maggie, crushing it there. Thank you, Maggie. The best bell. Oh, hold on a second. We're waiting to see what's going to happen here. I was going to compare her to Randy, but I can still hear, so that's always nice when that happens. Okay, thank you, Maggie, for sure for that one. We're just going to keep on going here. Keep on trying to make some money for you. Watch out for CEI. Starting to make some moves here again. We're waiting for that 220 to break. Here it comes the downside. We will be small short if it does break 220. So watch out now. Tons of volume, 89 million shares. Let's see where we go from here, guys.
Yeah, and
there's the break temporarily.
Yeah, it already broke. I'm actually sitting on the bid in front of that $2 level, well in front of it. But Tesla, still affirm Tesla making a bit of a move here to the downside. I wanted that fade off of 800, but it looks like it's already heading back in. If it comes and pumps back up and gives you 96, 97, I will be waiting around to fade Tesla off those levels. But they're already selling this one off rather heavily.
All right, so CEI, a very, very small short. We're going to hold on to that one. Yeah, you can see the futures coming back down. Let's see if we can pick up some Palantir. We talked about that. We're holding a very, very small. That Q's position of mine is less than 5% of what we had. I'm holding it so I could watch this thing go, and that's basically the point. That's how we're watching Palantir here. Palantir is going right to the upside on this market move to the downside, so that's always a positive thing. We got to get long on Palantir at some point now that it looks like it's trying to break through $24. So this is a long punch, man. We got to get long Palantir right now, guys. And then that's what I'm going to be looking at, and we're going to watch that CEI as it's getting back to the upside.
And so a bit of a down candle here on that CCXI. I know it's $2, but yeah, a bit of a down candle because the stock is going to be very, very volatile. 33 is your support. I do have a stop to break out if it takes out 38, but if it consolidates on a higher low, I still think there's a bit of a gap to fill. You have an obvious support level at that 33. You might have to give this an extra 50 even cents, maybe even a little bit more than that off of every single key level. But I did say if I had an opportunity to buy a bit of a dip in front of that 33, I would try to do it. So as it reclaims 35 here, I'm gonna see if I can't get in without having to chase it too far and see if I can't ride this wave into the upside. As long as 33 is held, I do want to be testing the long side of this trade, and that has everything to do with that daily chart and the monster gap that this had between current high and that 47.50. So all we got on right now is CCXI. Tesla's trying to get back to 95. I am looking to fade that on a pop.
Okay, so right now, again, this is a very, very small trade. This is where we're trying to get short. I do have an offer up here. This is what we're talking about. We were talking about waiting to get this thing to 250. So it tests that 220 CEI. Now let's wait to see where we go. I feel like this short is going to this short is already roasted, but that's not going to be a problem. We're going to put on some shares right now at 44 and then wait for this 250 to break because, yeah, if that happens now, then we got to get out. So right now we're short on CEI what's my average price? 237, 238. So there you go. That's how you know we put on some decent shares up here. So let's see where the downside comes here for CEI.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of positions just came in there for me. When you said CEI was going downside, I actually didn't think I had any chance to get filled at the high of the day in front of the 50 level. And next thing you know, I'm just filled. Like you were saying it, and then it's like, holy crap, I just got filled on that order. So I just got a 44 short. DATS broke the high, so I got a long there on a breakout. But I got to get some of this CEI out because I was anticipating, like you were saying, that it was going into the downside. I thought I was going to get triggered into some kind of a long position, and then it went the other way. So I just covered half of my CEI 44 at 30, so we can be happy about that. We'll spike a little bit there.
Yeah.
But DATS is going the... Well, I mean, I guess they're both going the other way because long DATS. DATS broke that high and comes right back into 9 even, so just immediate failure. So I will not like this one. We'll do this for DATS. It's holding up at this 9, and if it reclaims 9 even and then can hold a bit of a bid there, then I'll probably add to this position. There's definitely room to run if it gets going on DATS. So we've reclaimed 9. I think I can take a few more shares here. There we go. Just got some more shares on DATS. Let's see if it can't break out. There's still that 950 that we talked about, so I want to be covering some shares in front of it and then looking for a breakout at that price. As long as there's volume, I want there to be volume at 950 if DATS is going to get there.
Okay, so yeah, right now we're rocking and rolling here. We're trying to figure stuff out. Q's trying to run. We did average into our forward rate. We're not averaging. We have this forward trade. This is what we were looking for here. Was a dip buy into 85. I mean, we talked about that. It happened, so we'll walk on a little bit of water here with Ford as, yeah, that's coming out right now. We'll put a little offer on Ford and see if we can get a few shares out here at 92-ish. But that was a good one, man. We picked that up right off yesterday's bottoms. Good, hopefully a good move there on Ford, and we'll see where it goes. Oh my God, that's so nice of you. Thank you, Maggie. Wow.
You're the best.
Wow, that's the best. All right, thank you. Wow, very nice of you. Thank you so much for that one. And here we go to the downside again on CEI. So, I mean, this is going to be a big win for me, man. We'll go bearish on the name. But again, if you just follow the sticky note, then we talked about shorting it into 250. And I mean, and I even told you where my offer was. So, yeah, big time trade here for me on CEI as it's now coming back to the downside. Obviously, this gave me the average price of 38, but it doesn't matter when the thing's at 26. So let's go CEI. Nice move to the downside as we're getting excited. Got to put the coffee down and make a trade here.
Yeah, I mean, the firm's going to do that thing that it does where I get so close to my fill in front of that 135, and then you're going to see it flush. So did miss out on the initial move to the downside here, but I do still like it for the fade. We're around that 132 key level. That was a break from yesterday. So now that it's taken that 132, at least is attempting to, I can think about trading it a little bit lower. Still have that 35, 36 area for a bit of a stop, but I can enter into this position a little bit. I just got Sundial. For those of you that are like, is Neil going to trade Sundial? Yeah, I took it in front of that 74 level, as it does look like the volume is still trying to kick in there, and it couldn't seem to break too much lower. So I'm now short Sundial in front of that 74 cent level. A firm looking to pick some shares up here if we can get them. I'm still in CEI and DATS and CCXI. It's whippy, man. Like this is kind of weird, but it's got this like $2 range it's putting in here. And if it's going to do this, I should be taking some out at the top end of this range. I didn't do it when it got there the first time. I am going to do it this time. Like if I have to start scalping this trade because that's all it wants to do, then that's what I'm going to go ahead and do on CCXI. I do want to be net long as long as it holds 33 though. That's the goal here. Be net long as long as CCXI is above 33, but I'm going to have to start taking profit if it wants to put in a range.
Yeah, we're just getting out a little bit here. We're trying to get out of some Ford anyways, as we didn't get any of those 92. So there you go. We'll take a 91 there, and we'll see if we get back to the upside. We'll wait for some 92s again. CEI still moving to the downside. What up, Ren?
Big mover from yesterday, guys. This MRUS just popping back up again right at this resistance point from midday yesterday, 28 and a half. Decent volume again on this MRUS.
So we'll do this for DATS. So I mean, could have got more aggressive, picking some more shares up on the dip. Now remember, guys, 950, 950, 950. This is 950. I want to be out of at least half this position if it gets to 950. And if there's enough volume, it'd be a place to add. And then from there, as we mentioned, this is the gap fill that it does have. Do I think that it's going to be? Look, this is like we said before. First resistance is probably going to. This is not going to $19 again. You can probably stick a fork in it, fork in me, because I'll probably be shorting this one if it gets to that 11 to 12 mark. But we are long for now. It is working. CEI, just because I'm in the short position it's not going to change the fact that I like the chance to test the long in front of 2, right? So I am short now. I'm going to start covering some more shares at this quarter mark and then down at 220. But I still want to go long in front of that 2 level. You can play this in both directions. That's part of what you do as a day trader. And Tesla now, give me a break. I can cancel my Tesla offer. Tesla's now gotten away from us.
Yeah,
787 on Tesla.
Yeah, too far down. We talked about that 805 bid there. Thank you so much, Cortez Owens, man. Let's get this. This should be a Super Chat Friday, maybe, guys. Thank you so much. CCXI, we'll talk about that. Yeah, we know that they're white labeling that drug. We talked about that in the pre-market. It's actually on our watch list. So let's look at CCXI quickly. Thank you so much for the Super Chat. It's an easy way for us to call up your trades, that's for sure. A 20-minute chart up to the upside. You take out that 38 and watch out, man. CCXI